Hi everyone, this video is going to be a comprehensive overview and review of a ton of items from Paula's Choice, which is a mainly skincare company, but that also offers available some makeup items and bath and body items. And if you've been watching my videos for any length of time, you will know that my #1 skincare company that I purchase products from and I use on a daily basis is Paula's Choice. It's pretty much the only brand that I will trust consistently across the board for skincare. So in this video, I am going to give you a general overview of the brand just briefly to introduce you and to let you know sort of general characteristics of the brand across the board. And then I will try to show you every single product that I have tried. Some of them I haven't repurchased recently, so I may not have the physical bottle of, but I will try to include everything that I've tried. I have tried a lot of this brand. So yes, this will be a lengthy video. This is a video for people who are really interested in looking into the brand and the specific products and trying to figure out which products will be best for you depending on your concerns and skin type, and to get an insight into what I think about the quality of the products. Although I will tell you up front that for most of the items, especially the skincare items, there are great things about all of them, and none of them get a complete thumbs down from me. The makeup items are a little more of a mixed bag in my opinion, but the skincare is solid. Otherwise, I wouldn't recommend the brand so much. And yes, as a disclaimer, everything in this video, they are things that I have purchased with my own money. I have never been sponsored by Paula's Choice. Honestly, I wish they would sponsor me. I use between, I would say I use at least half a dozen of Paula's Choice's products, probably more on a daily basis for my face and my body. So that's the background, that's where I'm coming from in this video, and if you are interested, then please keep watching. I also hope you're subscribed so that you don't miss out on videos like this, and let's get looking at Paula's Choice skincare. Alright, so Paula's Choice has its own website online. That's the main place where you can purchase Paula's Choice items. I believe they might also be available through beauty.com right now. Don't quote me on that, but I'm 90% sure. But the best place I would say is to get it through Paula's Choice, because the website is constantly running different deals for different types of items. For example, right now, everything in the store is 15% off plus free shipping for orders of $50 or more. I will put a link in the description box below so that you can take advantage of that. But even when that sale is over, from when this video goes up or after this video goes up, there are always different promotions that are being promoted on the website that I do include on Facebook, Twitter, and at the website at allurabeauty.com. If you want to keep up to date, I do try to let my viewers know about those different promotions. So I want to talk about characteristics about this brand in general so that you know, no matter what you buy in this brand or on this website, it will be fragrance free and it will be alcohol free. And when I say alcohol, I'm talking about denatured alcohol or SD alcohol, that's sometimes called in the ingredients list. Those two types of products are irritants and they're not good for the skin. They are included in a lot of other brands' skincare, which is unfortunate, but Paula's Choice always makes sure to exclude those ingredients from their products. So that's a great thing. The other thing about Paula's Choice skincare and even a lot of the makeup items is that they are multi-layered. Whereas with other brands, you will find that they try to take just one ingredient and promote that one ingredient. Let's say a vitamin. They'll say vitamin C, this is a vitamin C serum, and that's pretty much all that is beneficial in that product. Paula's Choice is different because they try to really layer different kinds of antioxidants, vitamins, and then some anti-age ingredient, whether that be retinol or AHA, into a product so that it's not just one note. And there are some exceptions to that just for specific items that Paula's Choice has that are very, very concentrated. So for example, the 15% vitamin C, it is really just focused on that key ingredient. But with those, aside from those exceptions, all of the skincare is multi-layered. And the thing that I love the most about this brand is that they back up their claims and the ingredients that they use in their products with peer-reviewed, solid research. Not just some one-off test that is paid for by the company itself where they get 5 people to say yes, they like this product, and then they report the findings or the test that 100% of customers see an improvement or something like that. Those are not reliable, they're not trustworthy. If you go on Paula's Choice website and you look under the resources or the research that comes along with each product, you can read the peer-reviewed articles that support the claims that are made about the product. And I have read many of those articles. Yes, I am a huge nerd, and I will actually go to the research article and I will read it, usually not in its entirety, but I will read some of it just to feel comfortable. So if you are someone who actually wants to trust a brand and what they are saying, then it's a good choice for you in terms of the world of skincare brands available. And then if you're going and shopping on the website, the helpful things about the website are that the products are divided by skin concern. So if, for example, you are concerned about acne primarily, you can go to a section and it will show you all the acne related or anti-acne related products. If you are concerned about sunspots, then they have that category, etc. And everything is also divided by skin type. So if you have oily combination skin, it will tell you this product is good for oily combination skin, or conversely, dry or very dry skin, or all skin types. All right, so now that you kind of have a feel for the brand, let's move on to looking at specific products, all of which I have tested, most of which I have tested either for many years or at least many, many months. There are a handful of newer products, but still those I have used for several months already. So I feel like I have a good basis to share my thoughts with you. Before I look at the individual products, though, I will say in general that I do not buy cleansers from Paula's Choice. My reasoning for that is that cleansers are both the least helpful part of a skincare routine and they have the least potential to harm. So what I mean by that is, take fragrance. Fragrance is a skin irritant, so it's something that you should really try to avoid in your makeup and in your skincare. But because cleansers are on the skin just for a few seconds and then you wash them away, it's not such a bad thing if you happen to have a cleanser that has fragrance in it, because doesn't have a lot of time to be irritating on the skin. Conversely, even if you had a cleanser that had a ton of antioxidants in it and wonderful ingredients, you're going to be paying a lot for something that can't have time to act on the skin. It's not going to do anything anti-aging for you or replenishing for the skin because you wash it away after a few seconds. So, with all that said, the reason why I don't buy cleansers from Paula's Choice is not because they're not good cleansers. They are, but they do tend to be more expensive than things that I can find in the drugstore or on sale somewhere else. So if I'm going to be spending my money at Paula's Choice, I want to invest that money into something like a moisturizer, a sunscreen, or a serum, and not spend it on a cleanser. So as I'm going into the individual products, I'm going to try to roughly divide them up by anti-acne products, then I'm going to talk about anti-aging products, and then I'm going to go into makeup. So if you are not interested in one of those things, then hopefully that helps you kind of skip ahead to what you are more interested in. So when we're talking about skincare for fighting acne that you can purchase over the counter as opposed to getting something prescription from your dermatologist, there really are two ingredients that are clinically proven consistently to help fight mild to moderate acne. Once you get into severe acne, especially cystic acne, there's really nothing over the counter that can help you with that. That is something that you need a more extreme measure for and that you'll have to go to a dermatologist for. But before you get there, try ingredients that have one of these two ingredients. That's salicylic acid, also known as BHA, and the second is benzoyl peroxide. And you will see that in Paula's Choice website, it's mostly the clear line, which is the anti-acne line, although there are other products that do have salicylic acid in them. So the first thing that I will show you is from the clear line, the anti-redness exfoliating solution. This is a toner. It's empty because I've used it all, but it's a liquid and it comes with a cap like this. You just dispense it onto a cotton pad or a cotton round. And this is 2% salicylic acid. I don't know if I mentioned that. And you just use it as a toner. So after you cleanse your face, this is what you apply, and it helps helps to sort of exfoliate the skin, and it is oil soluble. So that means that it can actually get into the pores to help fight acne and clean out that pore. The next step up, this is from actually the Resist line, but it can be used to fight acne also. But it is dual purpose. It is nice for anti-aging because it does have that exfoliating effect. But this is the Weekly Retexturizing Foaming Treatment. This has 4% BHA, whereas this toner type product has 2% BHA. So if this doesn't work for you, go a step up and try this one. This comes with a pump. And this is relatively new to Paula's Choice line, and it comes out as a foam that you apply all over the face. It sinks in and sets in. It leaves a very slightly tacky texture, but it's not going to make you look oily or anything like that. So the bonus with this, not only with the salicylic acid, but so that it's for anti-aging, but it also does help sort of brighten and even out the complexion. Then also from the Resist line, but for the body, this is the Weightless Body Treatment. This has 2% salicylic acid or BHA and also has other antioxidants. This is a pretty thin cream. It really sinks into the skin. It doesn't really leave any sort of like noticeable scent. So it has a nice moisturizing quality for the body to it. It's not super rich or moisturizing though, and it definitely doesn't feel like sticky or thick or oily. And I really like using this on my arms because, as a lot of people actually do, they have like little red bumps or little white bumps. That's not acne, that's called keratosis pilaris, and this can help for mild cases of that. And I also use this on my legs under my knees because it helps when after I shave to, you know, prevent sort of like ingrown hairs or little red bumps there also. And moving on to benzoyl peroxide, there really is only one type of benzoyl peroxide product in the clear line. It comes from the clear line. This is the old packaging, something that I've used up completely. This is the new packaging. Looks pretty similar, but just a slightly different color. This is the Daily Skin Clearing Treatment. This one has 5% benzoyl peroxide. Now you'll see that the same tube, but having different levels of benzoyl peroxide. So I think there's one with 1% or lower percentages, but the main ingredient is benzoyl peroxide. Now benzoyl peroxide is water soluble, I believe, so it doesn't go down into the pore, but it does help to fight the blemishes on the surface of the skin. This is, again, a very thin, not even lotion, it's even thinner than that. And it actually has just a very slight grittiness to it, but it does sink into the skin. And the great thing about Paula's Choice benzoyl peroxide products is, unlike a lot of drugstore brands that you can purchase that have benzoyl peroxide in them, that also have alcohol in them, this does not have any sort of alcohol, just like all Paula's Choice products. And what that means is it's not going to dry your skin. I remember when I was a teenager buying a ton of things from like Neutrogena that had benzoyl peroxide in them, but that also really dried out my skin and made it red and feel raw and flake, which just further exacerbates irritation to the skin and then further encourages you to break out more, which is totally twisted. But that's because those products usually contain alcohol, which dries out and irritates the skin. You're not going to find that with this. You can slather this on and it's not going to dry out your skin or make it crack or flake. Okay, so let's move on to anti-aging focused products. And in talking about these category of products, I'm going to start with toners. Now, I want to say before we go into individual toners that I really wouldn't worry too much about which toner you purchase, because even though Paula's Choice divides up the toners into ones that are good for dry skin or oily skin or normal skin types, really they're all just liquids, and none of them is going to make you look more shiny if you have oily combination skin. If you have super dry skin, then yeah, maybe go for the ones that are specifically for dry to very dry skin, because those do tend to be a little more nourishing and moisturizing. But other than the category of people who have super dry skin, I wouldn't worry too much about which particular toner you get. This toner is the Hydrolite toner. It's healthy skin refreshing toner, and it says this is for normal oily and combination skin. Again, it's just a clear liquid. It sinks into the skin completely. It doesn't leave any sort of residue behind. This is from the Resist line, but this is the Weightless Advanced Repairing Toner. Again, for normal, oily, and combination skin. Again, this is a clear fluid, sinks into the skin. And this toner also from the Resist line, but this is the Advanced Replenishing Toner. It says this one is for all skin types. And this one is more of, it looks more milky, whereas these other toners are clear fluids. This one is a little more nourishing, but again, it's not going to leave any sort of residue behind. It's not going to make oily skin look more oily. I have oily combination skin, and all of these leave pretty much the same finish. I will say, Paula's Choice, if you're listening, I find that this one it doesn't flow out of the bottle seamlessly. You kind of have to shake it in order to get it onto the cotton pad, whereas with these other two toners, they flow out of the bottles very, very easily onto a cotton pad. So I don't know, maybe reconsider the packaging a little bit, but really that's a minor statement. And this one, this other Resist toner, even though they come in the very same bottle, this one doesn't have that milky consistency, and I find that it flows out of the bottle just fine. And then we also have this product, which is, it's in a toner consistency. Again, it's a liquid, so you would use it functionally as a toner, but it's not a traditional toner as you would think it would be. This is the Redness Relief Treatment. This is a liquid really used for if you have irritated red skin that needs just some sort of relief or calmness. This is nice. Sometimes after I shave, or if I use my epilator and I want to prevent a sort of development of that irritation that looks almost like a rash but isn't as severe as a rash, or red bumps, sometimes I will apply this to help soothe the skin. But if you also have irritation from something else, like a sunburn, or just if you've overused some sort of skincare product, or you use a product that has irritated your skin, then I would suggest this as a nice product to use to help soothe and calm the skin. I'm going to move now on to moisturizers. I'm going to go sort of in the steps that you would actually do your skincare routine. On that note, if you want to know what my personal skincare routine is, where I talk about a lot of Paula's Choice products, but I also talk about why I use them and why I use them in certain ways or in certain combinations, then I will link here for you a video that I did on my own skincare routine. So first I will start with from the Resist line, the Barrier Repair Moisturizer. And this is a product, a moisturizer that contains retinol. And if you don't know, retinol is a form of vitamin A. So it's a very potent or very effective anti-aging ingredient. This comes with a pump dispenser, which is great. It is a cream, but it is not thick or heavy at all, and it is actually very nice even for oily combination skin. I don't find that it makes the skin feel heavy or more oily or slick. This from the Resist line is the Daily Smoothing Treatment. This has 5% AHA, which is glycolic acid. That is an acid that helps to exfoliate the skin. It helps with evenness, sometimes some age spots, and with wrinkles. And again, you get a pump dispenser, which really helps keep the product inside sanitary and also the ingredients stable. And as you'll notice, all the packaging is also opaque, so that if you have sunlight coming into your bathroom where you store your skincare products, that helps also preserve the ingredients inside from sun exposure and degradation. So this one also has a sort of similar texture and consistency, and is pretty lightweight and also sinks into the skin nicely. So suitable for all types of skin. This product is from the Skin Perfecting line. This is the 8% AHA gel, and again, AHA is glycolic acid, so it has a higher percent glycolic acid than this product from the Resist line. And there are different forms, many different products that come in this kind of bottle. Because there are different levels of AHA, all the way down to I think 1% AHA and up to 8% AHA, which is this one. I think there's one that's 5% AHA also. And also, in addition to those levels of different levels of AHA, they also come in different formulations. So there is a lotion version of this. I chose to use the gel version because I have oily combination skin, but if you have normal or dry skin, I would suggest you go for the lotion version. In any case, they all again come with that pump bottle. So this is definitely, it's a clear gel formula. Again, I find that the gel formula leaves just a little bit of tackiness on the skin, and can also, because of that gel consistency, leave sort of a little bit of a sheen. But if you're applying sunscreen over it or something else, I don't usually find that it is a problem. And Dexter, my little pup, has decided that it is time to join me. I think I've been filming for a long time, so he's growing impatient. So if you see little ears sticking up or a little nose sticking up, that's him here. I'm gonna talk about a few things that I don't physically have to show you, just because I haven't repurchased them lately, but I have tried the Skin Balancing Moisture Gel. That's from the Skin Balancing line, and it looks like this. And this does have a very lightweight consistency, very good for people who have normal to oily or combination skin, because it really does sink in very nicely. It's nice and lightweight and doesn't make you look more shiny. It comes in a squeeze tube. And then last up for moisturizers, this is from the Skin Recovery line. This is the Hydrating Treatment Mask. So this is for very dry or dry skin. Normal skin can also use it. And I include it with moisturizers, even though Paula's Choice technically calls it a mask. You can use it as a mask. You can apply it over the face and then let it sink in for 15 minutes and then take it off. But when I was using this product, I had severely dry skin that was cracking and peeling, and this was a godsend in that situation. And I used it as a moisturizer. I did not take it off. I applied it onto my skin, left it on all night or all day under my makeup, and I find that it's wonderful. Even for something so nourishing and moisturizing, it is not shiny or oily or slick at all. It's not even really that thick. I mean, you can feel it on the skin. It's not going to sink in like that, you know, super light moisturizer that I just talked about, but it works just perfectly fine under makeup if you wanted to wear it for the day for very, very dry skin. It comes in a squeeze tube. Again, it is an opaque white color, but it is completely clear, colorless on the skin. All right, moving on to sunscreen or sun protection. The first one that I talk about is my favorite of all the sunscreens, and I've tried almost all of the sunscreens available for the face. This comes from the Resist line. It comes in this short squeeze tube here. It's the Super Light Daily Wrinkle Defense, and this has an SPF of 30. And if you can see in there, the product has a tint to it. It is not a tint that will change the color of your skin. It won't give you any sort of coverage, but it does counteract the normal white cast that many sunscreens can give. So this is a wonderful product for applying under the makeup. And if you are doing flash photography, which, you know, when you do that, you should try to avoid sunscreen. But if you're going to have flash photography and it's going to be the daytime, you may as well go with something like this, because that tint really helps to counteract that white tint. But I also love the consistency and formula. I find that this one really sinks into the skin. It feels the least like a traditional sunscreen. It really doesn't leave a lot of shininess or oiliness. So this is definitely my favorite of all the sunscreens available at Paula's Choice. A step up in terms of SPF comes again from the Resist line. This is the Youth Extending Daily Mattifying Fluid. This has an SPF of 50, and this is for oily combination skin or very oily skin. And this not only has a very high SPF, it comes in a squeeze tube, but that has a thin nozzle like this. I think the reason the packaging is like this is because the fluid is much waterier, much more watery and thin than most of the other sunscreens in the line, which helps it to be lightweight and simultaneously have a higher SPF but not be so oily and slick. So this one really has a thin formula. I find that it still leaves just a little bit of a sheen on the skin, but it is not super greasy or oily or anything like that. Now, even though I've tried most of the sunscreens in the line, those are really the two that I have in my collection, and that SPF 30, the first bottle that I showed you, is really the one that I continue to repurchase. But I want to show you the other ones that I have used. I've tried all of the ones that come in the packaging, the white squeeze tube that has the strip of color at the bottom to distinguish what kind of sunscreen it is. So I'm going to show you a close-up of them here. Okay, so do you see what I'm talking about? The different colored strips there. So we have the Skin Recovery one, SPF 30. Then we have the Moisture Boost one, SPF 30 again, the Skin Balancing one, same SPF, and the Hydrolyte one. So you're going from the sort of most moisturizing down to the most lightweight, so dry skin to normal to oily skin suitable. And what I will say about these sunscreens is that I really don't find a huge difference in them. Yes, the ones that are more for dry, very dry skin are a little more moisturizing or nourishing. And yes, the one that's a Hydrolyte one is a little thinner, but I wouldn't, again, fret too much about finding the perfect one, because none of them, even the most moisturizing ones, they don't leave a super oily, slick feeling, shiny finish. And even the really Hydrolyte lightweight ones still leave a little bit of a sheen and a shine like you do get with most sunscreens. So go ahead and just choose the one that you think is best suited for your skin type. And beyond that, I really wouldn't worry too much about which formulation is right for you. They all come in opaque squeeze tubes, similar to the very first one that I showed you for the sunscreens. Now, when it comes to sunscreens for the body, I have also tried the one in the orange tube that comes from the Sun Care line. It's the Extra Care Non-Greasy with an SPF of 50 because I do a lot of outdoor activities, so I need a good solid SPF for those times. And that is what the bottle looks like for that one in that orange packaging. And I will say that even though it's called a non-greasy sunscreen, this one is definitely more traditional sunscreen like and more greasy than any of the face moisturizers that I just talked about. So this one does leave more of a sheen. It's something that I am willing to put on my face even though it has that more oily quality to it, because I use it when I'm doing outdoor activities, and in that case I care much more about protecting my skin than I do about some photo or something like that. So just to forewarn you, it does come in the same squeeze packaging, but it does have a more oily or a slightly greasy formula. Moving on to serums, and these are the three that I have tried, and I will start with the one that comes in the green packaging from the Skin Balancing line. This is the Super Antioxidant Concentrate Serum with Retinol. And the next one from the Skin Recovery line, this is the Super Antioxidant Concentrate Serum. They have the same name, but they're just from different lines, again with retinol. Now the one in the green packaging is for combination oily skin. The one in the red packaging is for dry or very dry skin. And then this third one in the blue packaging is from the Resist line. Again, the same name, Super Antioxidant Concentrate Serum. This has vitamin C, so it's a little different from these other ones. And I would say that this could be pretty much for all skin types. The thing with me for serums is I usually use serums only at night, so I really don't care if it looks super oily or greasy or shiny because I apply it before I go to bed. If you do care about the texture or you're using it during the daytime, then I will say that the one that is for dry, very dry skin from the Skin Recovery line does leave sort of like a sheen and shine to it. So it may work very nicely for people with dry, cracked, flaky skin, but definitely not something you want to use if you have a combination oily skin during the daytime. The one from the Resist line is not as shiny or oily, but it still does have that like more traditional serum texture to it. So again, probably wouldn't use this if I had oily combination skin. This is sort of the exception. This has a very different formula from these two. This has a almost almost like a powdery texture, or like almost that kind of silicone-y texture that a lot of primers have. And this one I would absolutely use during the daytime. I do use it during the daytime very often underneath my makeup, and it doesn't leave any sort of slickness or shininess or oiliness. So even for my oily skinned babes out there, you can use this serum because it's not like your traditional oily shiny serum. And they all come in the same type of squeeze tube packaging. I have also used from the Resist line the Retinol serum. It's just called the Retinol serum, and it comes in packaging like this. That's what it looks like up close there. And this again has that same traditional, more traditional serum type of consistency. It will leave a bit of a shine on the skin. So again, not something I would use for the daytime if you have normal to oily skin. But unlike the other ones, this has a pump dispenser instead of a squeeze tube. Now I'm going to talk about more sort of like treatment type skincare items. The first one, which I know many of you have heard me talk about, it's probably my #1 Paula's Choice skincare item overall for treatment, although I would never give up my sun protection products. This is from the Resist line. This is the weekly resurfacing treatment. This has 10% alpha hydroxy acid, pretty much the highest concentrate you'll ever find for over-the-counter AHA products. This comes in a liquid form. It is used like a toner. I use this every time I come out of the shower, and I just apply it all over my face with a cotton round and let it sink in. This is a wonderful product because you will the next day see visible results. Nothing super dramatic, but it is visible, unlike most other skincare, which takes weeks and months to make a difference on your skin. This makes your skin look brighter and just more smooth overall and a little more radiant. If your skin is not as tolerant, you can also use this just as a mask. So you can apply it, leave it on for 10 or 20 minutes, and then remove it. And then maybe work yourself up to leaving it on all night. Probably my runner-up in terms of my favorite skincare products from Paula's Choice, again from the Resist line in this orange vial, is the C15 Super Booster. This has 15% vitamin C. It comes in a glass bottle that has a dropper like this. Again, it is a water, a liquid, and you add this into your other skincare. So day and night, I will just add a few drops of this to whatever moisturizer that I'm using, and then mix it in and apply it to my face. And the vitamin C is concentrated. It's really nice for sunspots, giving the skin a little bit of extra protection from the sun also. In my first 2 bottles of this, I did mention that I found little crystals in my bottle, and in my first bottle I even found crystals that kind of almost scratched my skin. I have not had that problem since then. I've had I think 2 bottles since those incidences that I haven't seen those in, so just wanted to make sure I updated you on that if you've seen any of my previous videos where I talked about this product. This skinny black glass vial here, this is from the Resist line again. This is BHA 9. So this has a super high level of BHA or salicylic acid. This apparently has like a time-released formula. This does have a serum-like quality to it, and you apply this more in terms of spot treatment. It is good for trying to treat blackheads or any sort of other stubborn imperfections, including wrinkles. I really dislike the packaging on this. This is probably my biggest pet peeve, or the packaging that I like the least across the board for Paula's Choice products. It has a pump dispenser that dispenses way too much product if you just use it regularly, just one pump. I have to sort of like barely click it over and over and over again just to get a little bit of product out at a time. It has already sort of burst on me. It is now just sort of seeping out of the pump, even though I haven't dropped it or anything, and is wasting product. And this is a really expensive product compared to the other products in Paula's Choice's line. So I really, again, if anyone from Paula's Choice is watching, I would really ask that you guys repackage this into more user-friendly packaging. But otherwise, I have heard that this is very good for treating stubborn blackheads, even spot treating sort of on pimples to really combat them in an effective manner. For me, this has not eradicated my blackheads. I do have blackheads on my nose and they are pretty stubborn. They have reduced them a little bit. I have noticed that, but they haven't gotten rid of them. From the Resist line, the Vitamin C Spot Treatment. This has 25% vitamin C, super concentrated. Again, this is for spot treatment. This is not for all over the face. This is definitely to reduce brown spots, and you just tap them over. This is pretty much the last skincare, last step in your skincare that you would apply this. It has a cream consistency that, again, it has like a powdery feel to it. It's actually quite matte on the skin, and yeah, that's all I have to say about this one. And then guess what, from the Resist line, this is the Moisture Renewal Oil Booster. So this comes in that same glass vial that the C15 product comes in, again with that dropper. And this is actually pretty thin and lightweight oil. It contains a bunch of different antioxidants and it is super, super nourishing. So if you tend to suffer from dry skin and you need that boost of nourishment, it's a great thing to, you can apply it alone if you want to, but it's a great also addition to your nighttime moisturizer to mix it in with there, or if you need it during the daytime for the daytime, and then to apply all over the face. They do have the hyaluronic acid booster that comes in the exact same looking bottle that has just released, and I have that on order. I will be testing that out and using it, but of course I want to fully test it out for a few months before I give you my thoughts on that. And then before I talk about the handful of makeup products from Paula's Choice, I want to talk about some body products. So from the Resist line, which has the purple packaging, this is the Skin Revealing Body Lotion 10% AHA. It comes in a squeeze tube that looks exactly like the 2% salicylic acid body lotion that I talked about toward the beginning of the video. And this has 10% glycolic acid. This is great for using all over the body. It has a nice moisturizing quality, but is again not super heavy or slick or anything like that. And from the Resist line, this is the Retinol Skin Smoothing Body Treatment. It has antioxidants and retinol in it, something you almost never see for a body product. This comes in a pump dispenser, and I would say, I mean, you do not get as much product as you do with these other lotions, so I tend to use this more sparingly just because it's pretty expensive comparatively. But like I said, it is, I mean, I've never seen another body lotion that has retinol in it, so definitely a unique offering. This has, again, a moisturizing yet lightweight formula that sinks into the skin. And then this one is the Beautiful Body Butter. This may actually, I'm not sure if they sell this anymore. I'm actually not sure if they sell either of these anymore. I shouldn't say they don't sell anymore. I think that these have been repackaged. So I think they look different, but that you can still find these products just in different packaging. And this may actually be called something like the Clinical Body Butter or something like that. But it's whatever body butter that is being promoted or available at Paula's website right now. And this is, it smells like cocoa and has cocoa butter in it. And this is a very thick, thick textured body butter. It is really for dry, almost cracked skin to really have a barrier on there. It is slick and slippery, so it's best for sort of nighttime use and will definitely help to alleviate dry skin. All right, I hope you're still with me. Let's talk about the handful of makeup items that I have tried. So Paula's Choice is definitely more focused on skincare. That is really their bread and butter. That is what they are fantastic at. The makeup is a mixed bag. This first item that I'll talk about, this is the Shine Stopper Instant Matte Finish, and it comes in a squeeze tube like this, and it has a, I guess, a little, I wouldn't say thicker cream texture, but it does have that powdery silicone-like feel, and it does go on very matte on the skin, but you know, like other mattifiers, I find that this will last a few hours, but it's not going to keep oily skin matte for the entire day. I don't really think there's any sort of product that will really do that. And so this is a product that will last longer than most other mattifying products on the market. But if you're going to expect a 12-hour matte face, if you have oily combination skin from this product, that is not what you're going to get. One of my least favorite products from Paula's Choice, and definitely my least favorite makeup items from Paula's Choice. This is the Resist line Instant Smoothing Anti-Aging Foundation. Now, what I love about the makeup from Paula's Choice is that it actually includes antioxidants, which is something that other makeup companies don't care about and they don't put in their makeup, which is unfortunate. But Paula's Choice items do. This comes in a pump bottle. You can see how grimy it is. First of all, even though this is the second lightest color, I'm trying to see what color I got. Shade 2 light. Even though it's the second deepest color or the second lightest color, it's still too light for my skin. This, I think, is good for fair skin. So I always have to mix this in with a darker foundation to match my skin tone. So I don't like that. I don't like the description of the color selection in Paula's Choice's line because I find that it's hard to get an accurate read. But the formula and texture for this also is not great for my skin. Maybe it will be great for mature skin, but I find that it gets to look greasy on the skin. It doesn't look smooth on the skin. Like, I can tell that I'm wearing a foundation. It isn't smooth. It sort of gets a little patchy over the day. So I just really don't like this formula. I am slowly and painfully getting through this by using it each morning with just one small pump mixed in with a different foundation. So I will definitely be glad when I'm done with this, and I will not be repurchasing it. Something I really do actually like from Paula's Choice, this is the Healthy Finish Pressed Powder. This has an SPF of 15. Something also in pressed powders that you have a hard time finding is sun protection. So this is a pressed powder, surprise, surprise. I am in the shade Neutral, which is good for NC20 skin. This doesn't give a lot of coverage. If you used it alone, it would give you light coverage, but I usually use it as a setting powder and a boost for my SPF sun protection, and it has a nice matte finish. Won't keep you completely matte all day, but definitely isn't heavy, isn't oily or slick or powdery or cakey. And the last makeup item I mentioned that I have tried is the Nudes Matte Eyeshadow Palette, and it looks like this. So it's the eyeshadow palette that is available in the range. It is full of matte shades. And I've never returned anything from Paula's Choice except for this product. And it's not because it was super bad. It is not a bad product by any means. If you look at the reviews and ratings, a lot of people actually love this palette. I just did not think that for the price, for $34, that it was really worth it when you have so many other great matte palettes on the market. Palettes from places like Lorac or even Too Faced, Urban Decay. I didn't find that they were as silky and smooth in texture and pigmented as something from like Urban Decay, so it was just an additional palette that I didn't need and that I didn't really think was worth the money. If you don't already have a lot of eyeshadow palettes like I do, then this is a good choice, but I don't think that it lives up to the quality and color of something like an Urban Decay Naked palette. So that's everything, almost everything that I've tried in the Paula's Choice line. I'm sure there are things that I don't physically have that I have forgotten to mention, but I'm sure this video is long enough even for those of you who like long videos. But I do want to mention as a last thing that if you are purchasing something on the website, look out for their deals where they couple products together. So I mentioned both of these products. This is the Resist Daily Smoothing Treatment, which has 5% glycolic acid or AHA, and then that weekly resurfacing treatment, that #1 product for me. So they sell this in a bundle. You'll get a discount by buying them together. So if there's more than one product that you're interested in that you saw in this video or that you see on the website, I encourage you to get an extra discount on them by buying them in a bundle instead of buying them separately. So just sort of an insider's tip there. I really hope that this was helpful to you and comprehensive enough for you that are very interested in Paula's Choice's skincare line. I really do recommend this brand. It's not coming from any sort of bias, not paid or sponsored in any sort of way. It really comes from my own experience and my own use of these products they are fantastic. They are fabulous. Even the worst things in the line have very redeeming qualities. Like that foundation still has antioxidants in it, which pretty much no other foundations really have or concentrate on. So I hope that this was helpful to you. Please give it a thumbs up if it was, and thank you as always for taking the time to watch. I'll see you in the next video. Bye. And all of the Amazonian clay eye and face palettes that I've tried from Tarte have been really, really good. This one is no exception. It may even be the best one that I have tried. The formula for all of the shades is really nice. The powder is soft and blendable.